Paul says here that because, man, I've been justified, I have peace with God. And because I have peace with God, I have 100% unlimited access with God now and also for all of eternity. I'm assured that I'm going to be in eternity celebrating the glory of God for all of eternity. Now, the word glory, you've heard people say, the glory of God. We talk about the glory of God. Man, it sounds religious. What does it mean? Well, the word glory means weight, right? It's heaviness. It's the weight of God, of all God's character, of all he is. You know, that's what God's glory is. It's the weight of all that he is. And sin has blinded our eyes to all that God is. That's why people who don't know God cannot see God. They're blind to God. They can't see who God is at all. When we're redeemed, he removes our blinders and we begin to see the glory of God. We begin to see his character. We begin to see that he's a good, good father. We begin to see that, man, he is a provider. We begin to have faith, and that faith produces hope because I'm beginning to see who God is. And Paul says that when I die, man, I will be with him forever. And at that point, because we'll be in heaven and not broken by sin, man, we're going to spend eternity just seeing different layers of the character and the excellency and the glory of who God is forever. It's sure. It's assurance. And listen, it's not just that I get to see who God is, but then I become who God created me to be. You see, you and I were created in the glory of the image of God. We were created in the glory of the image of God, but sin has marred that. Sin has distorted that image of God. It's broken. That's why, man, we talk bad to people and we mistreat our spouses. And, man, it's because we tell stuff that's not true. That's sin that's distorted the image of God because God is truth. That's a part of his character. Right? I mean, God is love, and when we act in unloving ways, that image has been distorted. But here's what the promise is. The promise is that when I'm in heaven, not only will I enjoy the glory of who God is for all of eternity and understand more and more of that, I'll enjoy the glory, being made of the glory of God's image, as I will have absolutely no blemish, no sin. I will be righteous and I will be holy. I will enjoy for all of eternity the glory of who God is, the glory of who he created me to be. It's called glorification, right? It's what the Bible calls glorification. And that's a promise. It's sure. It's not wishful thinking. Oh, I hope for, life after death. And, man, it is sure. I'm not going to be perfect until I die. But here's what I know because of my faith. I know that God keeps his promise. And when I'm fickle, he's faithful. And when I let him down, he never lets me down. And when I sin, he keeps his promise, and I am going to be with him for all of eternity, understanding who he is and living in who he created me to be, and that provides hope for my soul. That's why Paul said hope is the anchor of your soul, right? It's the anchor of your soul, which means it gives you depth. It causes you not to be tossed back and forth by every wind of doctrine. Some preacher that is clueless writes a book that there's no hell, and a lot of people that call themselves Christians go, oh, really? Wow, that's a new thought. That's pretty cool. I mean, really? No, that's called shallow. That's called weak. That's called grow up. Grow up so that you're not tossed back and forth by every preacher that says something that's all new. And that's what Paul calls every wind of doctrine that's tossed back and forth. And he says, grow up and have an anchor of your soul. And that anchor is hope that flows out of faith. And you have that because you have access to God from now and all of eternity.